Daughter of BYU assistant football coach Reno Mahe has died.
Football doesn't define us. Everyone was focused on them.
But that's just the beginning of the story.
The miracles from Elsie go far beyond the organ donation.
There's countless messages that people don't realize or know about.
Sharing the miracles from Elsie.
It's changed their lives.
Much of their lives have played out in the public eye. He, as a former BYU football player turned NFL pro, and she as an All-American Olympic-bound volleyball player. Sports put Reno and Sunny Mahe in the spotlight, but it's their private life at home that you begin to see who they truly are.
Yes! They're the typical everyday sounds of a busy family.
Booyah!
But before Sunny and Reno Mahe were mom and dad of the house, they were household names to BYU sports fans around the world.
Reno Mahe goes in for the Brigham Young touchdown.
Reno as a receiver for the Cougars, and Sunny Tonga as an All-American volleyball player from Texas.
Well, I was on track to go to the Olympics. I would spend my summers training in Colorado Springs at the Olympic Training Center.
That Olympic dream began to change after a chance encounter on a corner in Provo, Utah.
I was walking on the road with a buddy, and her sister picked us up.
And we ended up giving him a ride to his dad's auto shop. And as we were gonna leave, our back tire wasn't turning. And so his dad's like, wait, come, just leave your car here. And so I guess his dad was telling him in Tongan to take me out. And I don't speak Tongan, and so I didn't even know.
He was like, man, she don't want to go out with me, look how tall she is. But then we just kept running into each other here and there, and I started kind of getting that courage, like, I might have a chance at it.
He makes everyone feel special and important. It was pretty early on that I realized that I was quickly falling in love.
Reno and Sunny said yes to marriage on May 5th, 2001. Shortly after, Reno reported to football camp at BYU, and Sunny returned to volleyball. After their fall seasons, the newlyweds discovered they were expecting. Sunny redshirted a season and then returned with a baby in tow.
But she would be crying on the sidelines, and I would be out there on the volleyball court, and it just felt wrong. It felt unnatural for me now, that I really latched onto motherhood, and I felt like that was a better dream.
Sunny ended her volleyball career and focused on being a dedicated mother and wife to her husband, who wanted to pursue his dream of playing in the NFL.
Knowing the sacrifices by not only all my family, but especially by Sunny, it was hard. Kind of gave you that fuel to do more, to push yourself.
The push paid off. The Philadelphia Eagles signed Reno as an undrafted free agent in 2003.
It just seems kind of surreal that it was a part of my life that I actually got to play in the NFL.
So I showed up to the very first game wearing like a pair of his sweats. You know, it had, Eagles. I thought I was being like all team spirit. And then some of the other wives walked out and they just looked like they stepped off a runway, and I was like, I didn't even bring a diaper bag. I forgot to get diapers. I literally had a plastic bag with diapers in it as my handbag.
Humble, modest, rooted in their faith and their family, that was the Mahe's lifestyle.
It was always so fun to be able to escape that world and that rat race and the grind of it, and to be able to go home. It just instantaneously, the kids run up to you and you forget all about that. So it was great.
The kids became the bedrock of the Mahe home. During their 5 seasons in Philly, their family grew.
Jeffrey, Evie,
Ellie, Trey,
and then grew some more.
Emmy, Tianco,
Elsie, Steele. The running joke was we would just keep having them until the table felt full.
A big, beautiful family, a career in the NFL, later a football coaching job at his alma mater. So many wins for the Mahe family over the years, but also a share of losses. Big games, jobs, financial stability, and even good reputation.
You talk about life being an adventure. There's been ups, then there's been downs. What's kept you two together? What's kept you two close?
I would say definitely a foundation of the gospel. That every single trial that we've been through, we see it as temporary. And so there have been so many situations to where I feel like the Lord has reaffirmed his hand in our life, that we trust him, and we knew that he loves us, and that if we were called to pass through this, that he would help us.
Coming up, a trial no parent ever wants to pass through.
While I worked CPR on my precious child, I frantically screamed a silent prayer in my mind. Please help me, Father.
They say it takes a village to raise a child. And in this Traverse Mountain community in Lehi, where the Mahes live, the village is strong. There's something special about the bond here. It stems from a love for a sweet, spunky 3-year-old girl named Elsie Mahe.
That girl, she had me wrapped around her finger, and she knew it.
She was just a princess. She would tiptoe into every room that she came into.
She loved everything. She could find a reason to love something.
She made the most epic messes, and she always was in my craft room dumping glitter everywhere.
She loved the color pink. Yeah, everything she did was like angelic.
She was our little angel from the get-go. The date was November 22nd, 2016, and it was just a very ordinary day.
We had just gone out to practice at BYU in the indoor facility, and I had accidentally left my phone in my pocket.
I was watching a neighbor's kids. They were kind of quietly playing, running around the house, just, being kids. And I was washing the dishes in the kitchen, and at one point, my neighbor's daughter came and tapped me on the hip. And she said, "Elsie's hanging by the string." I walked from my kitchen to my front room to find that she had become entangled in the cord from our blinds.
I was delayed for some reason. I can't remember exactly why, but I heard a knock at the door. Saw a little tantrum there, and he said, "Elsie has fallen, and it's as if she's dead." And so I ran over and walked into the front room, and I saw Sonny there performing CPR on Elsie.
I realized I had never known fear and horror until that very moment. While I worked CPR on my precious child, I frantically screamed a silent prayer in my mind. Please help me, Father. Immediately the words came to my mind. She was mine before she was yours.
Sonny requested for a blessing, and so I immediately turned to my neighbor as I saw Sonny, and I could see her strong persistence and her love for her child. Fear left, and the Spirit took over.
And the paramedics, who are typically stationed about 15 minutes away, they just happened to be on break 3 minutes away.
They took over, and Sonny came to me and she said, "Pray with me." We had trained professionals that were very good, but then there's a higher power that attempted to draw upon at that time. And no question, God was listening and was there and could hear. And prayers were answered that day.
One of those answered prayers, getting a hold of Reno right away.
I called her, and then she had told me what happened and that they were life flighting her. And so then I just ran out of the practice.
And obviously Reno was kind of in a panic. I think just a lot of fear was setting in with everyone, and kind of hoping for the best, but kind of assuming the worst at the same time.
By this time, news was spreading amongst the neighbors.
It's that knee-jerk reaction of go and do and be there.
To friends, Sonny and Reno are family.
With Sonny, it was like I could just grabbed her and held her. And
I just remember that conversation saying, "I love you, and it'll be in the Lord's hands."
To keep friends and family updated, neighbors Kristen Pulsifer and Valerie Andrus started a Facebook page. Once it became public, hundreds started to follow. Then Sonny started to write.
November 25th, 2016. I feel like I owe all of you a more personal update. I'm just at a loss as to where to begin.
what they did was they made everything very real and raw I think everybody can relate.
Within days, thousands were following and sharing Elsie's story.
We're not out of the woods, but I trust him and his plan.
Their approach to it was so unique, you know, that to take the time to talk about eternal families and talk about the gospel.
Prayers poured in from all over the world. Elsie's favorite color started showing up everywhere, in the football stands at BYU games, on the football field, and in the Mahe's neighborhood, where neighbors had wrapped more than 200 trees in pink Christmas lights.
Those tender crying moments you had were just being so grateful for all the support that people kept showing to us.
The Mahes believed the collective prayers of many held them together while their daughter's future was uncertain.
On day 5, I kissed her head and told her how much I loved her. I told her how much I wanted her to wake up. And then I told her it was okay if she didn't.
They clung to their faith, and so did their children.
I was trying to think of the lessons that I'd always heard before about how to get through trials.
In the hospital, Elsie Mahe drew what she says she came to understand while reading the scriptures.
Elsie would probably go to heaven, but I knew that she would be with Jesus and my Heavenly Father, and that all of us would be with her someday.
November 29th, 2016 at 6:03. Our Elsie girl has officially been released to heaven.
Go to sleep, my baby girl. Close your little eyes.
The miraculous healing we have been praying for is not for Elsie, but from Elsie. This morning we met with a representative from the hospital organ team. Elsie will be a life-saving miracle for others. It is not the miracle we wanted, but it is the one that we got. It is still a miracle.
My little baby girl.
Coming up.
I definitely felt Elsie with me at times, somewhat directing my efforts. And there was a particular moment where I felt her say, I can't go until we get this done and this done, and I need you to help me with that.
Heartbreak as the Mahes learn that Elsie will not be coming home. Here at the hospital, Sunny describes the sacred experience of preparing her daughter to, in Sunny's words, give her sweet body so that another may live. Meanwhile, miles away at the Mahe home, their neighbors are experiencing sacred moments of their own.
Not many people know this, but right before Elsie passed away, they had a flood upstairs in their home and one on the main floor.
It had destroyed carpets, furniture, and walls. The home was very much a construction zone.
The community decided that we don't want Reno and Sunny to have to come home to this construction mess.
And we knew that there was nothing we could do to ease their pain at the hospital, but we could make a difference here.
Over the next week, 20 to 30 people at any given time were providing service at the Mahe home. A labor of love focused on fixing what was broken.
We want to provide anything that could create a happy space, especially in that front room.
One of them was to get the piano tuned. Sunny loves to play the hymns. And I think Elsie knew that her mom would find comfort in being able to sit and play the hymns. And that was a tender mercy from Elsie.
Neighbors are quick to say volunteers showed up by the dozens day after day because they had been served by the Mahes.
They love many, and many love them.
And of the feeling in the Mahe home as it was filled with heartfelt service,
it felt like the temple.
It felt like a temple.
And there was such a peace and such a strong spirit there that nobody wanted to leave. Everybody just wanted to keep serving.
I was very nervous about how I would feel returning home to the scene of the worst moments of my life. I wondered if I could ever feel safe there again. My dear angels on earth have transformed my home to where I will never have to worry about that again.
And all of the incredible support that was provided by all of the neighbors and friends and community members. In that moment, I knew no one could deny Christ's love exists in this world.
It showed me what happens when people listen to promptings and they get up and act, and miracles take place. I love the village that I live in.
That village continued to serve, planning Elsie's funeral after the surgery to gift her organs to others in need. Hundreds attended Elsie's graduation ceremony, as her family calls it. Neighbors collected 200 princess dresses for the little girls to wear, pink ties for the boys, just like Elsie would have wanted.
There was no end to the generosity of friends, neighbors, strangers. There was no way that we could possibly repay that. And so we hoped to instead pay it forward.
They set up the Miracles from Elsie Foundation to help make more miracles happen for more families. The foundation is focused on providing financial support for families experiencing a medical tragedy, grief counseling, and awareness about organ donation.
I wanted to surprise them.
They continue to look to serve. I mean, that's, even though Elsie's gone, they still look at different ways with their foundation and different ways to help others and lighten other people's burdens.
In February of 2018, you filed a lawsuit against blind manufacturers in effort to hold them responsible for potentially producing a deadly product. Why did you decide to take that legal step of action?
I know it's not going to bring her back. That's not in any way what it's about. That it's about the fact that this continues to happen, and I could never look another mother in the eye that had this happen to them and know that I did nothing.
You kind of get to a point in your life where you start to realize that, and it's not just in this situation, just any situation, you just become a bystander and just let things continue to happen, or stand up and do something about it.
Up next, the Miracles from Elsie continue.
I doubt I would have ever imagined my little friend generating the changes of this magnitude.
So today is a bit of a tender day for our family.
Homemade Texas sheet cake.
Oh man.
Presents, and plenty of pink.
It's Elsie's birthday. Today she would have been 5.
On this day, February 17th, Elsie's best friend Livy is the guest of honor.
Presents that we would have bought for Elsie, we like to give to Livy and let her open it.
Livy, those will be so cute on you.
It's bittersweet for the family.
I look at it as just tender moments with Livy.
Happy birthday, dear Elsie. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, Livy.
Blowing out the candles for her best friend.
All right.
Playing on the floor with toys Sonny can only wonder if Elsie would have liked.
Makes me happy to think every time I see Livy that was someone else he had so much fun with.
Which one do you think she would like the most?
Moana.
Probably, huh?
The family visits Elsie's gravesite. They add toys, blow up balloons, filled with special messages of love. Laughter and love are ever present, as is glitter. Lots and lots of glitter.
It's something we do everywhere we go. It's a way to take Elsie with us.
She continues to sprinkle love and hope across the world.
15 months after Elsie's passing, the Mahes have not met any of the recipients of Elsie's organ donations. They know the young boy, though, who received her heart is thriving. And from the recipients of Elsie's kidneys, a special thank you.
Your generosity has inspired all of us to face each day with a new purpose and an opportunity to give back to those in need.
The Mahes also try to be happy and face each day with a new purpose, living for heaven.
I want to go there a little bit more now. That it changes everything about my decision making.
As hard as it is to lose a child, there's so much joy in the day we get to reunite with them.
I continue to hear of Elsie's miracles, and I'm overcome with gratitude that the Lord in His mercy would allow me to see just a fraction of His plan unfold.
People would send messages or comments or texts that said, look, I don't know the Mahe family, I haven't prayed in over 20 years, but I'm praying now for you guys.
This is the true miracle of Elsie's life. She saved physical lives through the miracle of organ donation, but will help save souls through those of you who allow her story to touch your heart and motivate you to live better, be kinder, and have a bright hope for the future.
As we embrace that light, wonderful things can happen. Miracles can happen. Heaven can be here on earth.
To see the benefit from service and from caring about others and loving others, and it's made a huge impression on our players.
Being a part of that changed my life.
I miss her. I miss her more than I can say. But I have never been more certain of the Lord's plan and the reality of His atonement.
I'm gonna miss her, no doubt I'm gonna miss her, but I know she's okay. She's where she's supposed to be, and God's plan is real.
It's kind of like being a missionary mom, that I have to love her from afar.
Sunny still prays for Elsie every day, believing it helps with her work in heaven. Sunny admits the sting of death is still alive. She still cries every day, but not all day. And that, she says, is because of the greatest miracle of all in this story.
As wonderful as she was, there's one that was more wonderful. It's only because of Him that we'll see her again. Even in tragedy, there's always, always hope. And that hope is in Jesus Christ.
Still much in store, but I'm still happy, keeping your spirit alive. And I'm so grateful that you were my best friend when we meet again. Now don't get me wrong, still feel down every now and then, but we'll meet again. Don't get me started, still broken hearted.